What up? It's your boy Todd coming to you today to talk to you about when a girl doesn't text you back. And I know it sucks. You're like, will you please text me back? Oh my God. I totally get it. So, what I'm going to talk about today is kind of any time that you're looping or perseverating on a girl. So, you either want her to text you back, you want her to DM you back, you want to hook up with her. Anytime there is a girl that you are kind of looping on, this is going to be applicable. So, first of all, the common advice for this is that you're in scarcity, bro. And this advice is it's not wrong. Like it's actually right. So like level 1 for this is like you need to go out more. You need to meet more women. You have to have more women that you're talking to, more women in your life, more feminine energy in your life. Agreed. Of course, everyone knows this. This is like basic table stakes. And what you're going to hear from the lovely internet is that you're in scarcity and you need to go out and meet more women. Totally agree. Really good first pass of advice from when you're kind of looping on or perseverating on or wanting to hear back from a girl. Totally agreed. Okay, now let me share a story with you. I know this is going to be really hard for you to believe, but I've had more than one woman interested in me before. I know, it's a huge shocker. Okay, so when you actually build this part of your life out and you have multiple women that are interested in you, this is going to sound weird, but you turn into a hot girl. So what is a hot girl's reality? A hot girl's reality is like plenty of guys are interested in her. Plenty of guys are coming up to her. She's got a lot of options, but guess what? They get hung up on one guy too. So this advice of you're in scarcity, you need to go out more is absolutely true. You need to go meet more women and be around more women. Of course, of course, of course. But even when you do that, you are still going to have just that one girl. I don't know why it is. It's just the way it is. Like you'll have like 5 or 6 girls you're talking to, and the one that isn't texting you back, guess which one you're going to focus on? Not the other ones, the one that isn't texting you back. Now, please don't use this advice as an excuse to not go out more and not meet more women and not put more energy into it. Of course you should do that, okay? But that advice will only get you so far, okay? So you're out there, you're meeting a lot of women, you're dating, and now you're hung up on one. Congratulations, you're now a hot girl where you have options, but of course, the one that isn't writing you back is the one that you want to hear back from. Okay, so let me share with you some frames that are going to help you when you have this situation. Okay. First, I want to share kind of how I feel about it, okay? And this is a belief that takes a while to get into your system. Don't expect for you to get it overnight. But you basically want to get to a point that you feel bad for the girl. Like straight up, in my life, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, and if a woman doesn't want to interact with me or be friends with me or get into a relationship with me, I genuinely feel bad for them, that they're going to miss out on that experience. And this isn't some bullshit like ego, like, well, this just do. It's like, no. Build yourself out as a man so that this feels true, that you feel like, hey, this person is really missing out by not taking me up on, spending time or whatever. Okay. So that is like the first thing is making sure you have abundance. Yes. The next thing is like really building yourself out, right? In a way that you actually do feel bad. And when I say build yourself out, I'm not just talking about adding a bunch of more shit, but like also feeling really good about yourself and being very grounded and feeling like you are an amazing experience and feeling bad for the girl that is not texting you back. Okay? Next up. Energetically, when this is occurring, this looping and this perseverating, right? You're perseverating, you're looping on a girl. You want her to write you back. She's not writing you back, okay? You're leaking energy, Okay? So when you're perseverating, your energy is going into something where there's nothing coming back. Okay? You're leaky, brah. You're leaking energy. So when this is occurring where you're looping, I just want your brain to recognize that you are reducing your potency and you're reducing your power. I don't want to get too much into a control paradigm here, but I do want to kind of motivate you to shift this, right? And the motivation to shift it is like you're leaking energy. And the less that you're leaking energy and sending it into things where you're not hearing back from, the more potent you are, the more present you are, the more powerful you are. So getting abundance socially, really building up the belief that you really do feel like she's missing out by not writing you back, and like really honestly feeling bad for her, and not out of some BS ego bullshit, but like actually like you are an amazing guy and you have a lot to offer and you are a really good and like you're fun to experience, right? Okay. Now the motivation to kind of let this go is the fact that you're leaking energy. Like you are sending energy out into a black hole and you are reducing your power and your potency. You are leaking energy. Okay? So it really is important for us to be able to let go of any female where our energy is going in, but it's just not coming back, where we're wanting it, where we're kind of gripping and we're tightening and we're wanting to hear back. And it will happen. You'll have, a couple of girls that you're talking to, and the one that doesn't write you back is the one that you want to hear back from. But you're leaking energy if you do that. So the motivation here to let go of it is the fact that you recognize like, hey, I'm reducing my potency as a man and I'm reducing my presence and my power by doing this, okay? So let's talk about how to let this go. Let's talk about how to actually solve this, because again, the advice you're going to get is like, just get more girls, bro. And it's like, dude, you get to a point that you're kind of like a hot girl and you have a good number of girls interested in you, but there's just one that you're not hearing back from, okay? So I want to talk about a couple frames and a couple things that you can do to kind of like help let go of this when you're wanting to hear back from the girl, or you're looping on the girl, or you're perseverating on her in some way, shape, or form. Okay. First of all, you can't want it more than they want it, right? So this is true in business and it's also true in relationships. If you feel like you're a great offer and you're a great experience, you can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. You've seen those guys that like go to sell and they like want it more than the other person, and it throws the energy off, right? So like the energy is off because you want that girl to experience you more than she wants it for herself, right? And like energetically you're leaking and it's throwing the energy off, okay? So another concept here that is going to help you is you want it for them, but not more than they want it for themselves. Like you have an energetic boundary here of like, yes, you absolutely want that girl to come into your life and to experience you, but you don't want it more than she wants it for herself. So another concept here that's going to help you is, look, you don't want people to do things that they don't want to do. That's weird, okay? And I don't mean that in like a shaming way. What I'm saying is, if a girl doesn't want to have sex with you, you don't want her to like have sex with you even though she doesn't want to. Or if she doesn't want to date you, you don't want her to date you even though she doesn't want to. Like at your core, you want people to do what they want to do. Like you really do want what's best for them. You want them to experience you, but if for some reason they're not, you still love them, you want what's best for them, and you want them to do what they want fundamentally, okay? So let's talk about different options, because I have this too. Like this happens to me too, homie. Like, I'll get like, oh my God, this one girl. Okay, so here are a couple of things that I do to let go of it, and like you get to figure out what works for your system and you get to play with this, okay? And this is fundamentally an opportunity for you as a man, okay? When a girl is not writing you back or not interested, there's basically two things you can do. One, you can look at your approach and you can see what you can improve, right? And after you've done that, it's regrounding. So this girl is giving you a gift of letting go and regrounding, okay? So now let's move into how to let go. Very exciting, Todd. Longer preamble, please. Okay. And I'm going to go through a couple options that will help you kind of let go when you're looping and you're perseverating on a girl, okay? And it could be any form of this. You want her to DM you back, you want her to text you back, you want her to go on a date with you, you went on a date, you want to hear back from her, any of this, okay? And these are just methods that work, so play with them, okay? One is turning it over to the universe, okay? So turning it over to God, turning it over to source, turning it over to universe, okay? And saying, hey, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. I'm going to turn this over. No longer is this my responsibility. I've shown up and I've done what I can, and I no longer have control over this situation. I'm going to turn control over to the universe and trust that the universe is going to do what's best. Trust that it is going to create a beautiful result here because I've already shown up. This isn't like some flaccid advice where it's like, just trust the universe. Like, dude, you already did what you could do, right? Like, you're already showing up. You're already putting the work in. So one part is turning it over, okay? Another way to let go is to realize what you actually want, okay? So it's not necessarily that particular girl, but it's more often what she represents, right? Whether it's companionship, whether it's sex, whether it's lust, whether it's good feelings, there's something that you want. That girl, because you kind of barely know her, let's be honest, you know, if you're texting or whatever, she represents something that you want in your life, okay? And so it's recognizing that she's not the only path to it. Like, yes, you want the sex. Yes, you want the companionship. You want the lust. You want all of the beautiful things. And you realize she's not the only option in order to create that. That's a second kind of realization that'll kind of like help you let it go, okay? Here's a third one, okay? And this one is a little bit trippy, but it's true, okay? This is what your brain does. This is what my brain does. This is what brains do. They like grip. They grip onto things. Like, I want this, and they grip, okay? So I want you to realize that it's not necessarily even that girl. It's the process. It's your brain. Your brain does this. Your brain like grips onto something and gets so focused, and it's like, it's this. Just realizing that is what's happening. Like, because you could insert that girl for any other girl. You felt this way about other girls in the past, and you felt this gripping and this tightening about other things in the past too. So recognizing that this is something that your brain does. It's okay that it does it. It just grips on, it gets really focused, it gets really tied into and wanting a specific result. It grips, okay? So that's another thing that will help you kind of let go, just realizing like, oh, that's my brain doing the gripping thing, like doing the focusing thing. Like, it does that. I'm not making it wrong, but like, it does that. Okay. Let's move into another one. You can feel the want, right? So one thing that you can do is you can play with that want, right? So you want that girl, and you can feel it in your system when you want. You're like, I really want it, okay? And, you know, we all know, okay? But wanting is a feeling, just a feeling. So you can kind of play with the fact that you want it and grip it tighter, try to like feel the want more, and then try to loosen your grip on it and let it go, and then tighten again, and then let it go. Even do this right now. If you're still watching this video, clearly, hopefully you have a girl that you're a little bit. So like want her more. Feel it, grip it tighter, and then try to relax your grip a little bit. And then grip it and want it more. And then try to relax your grip and oscillate kind of back and forth so you can kind of create some looseness around this wanting energy, around this gripping and this tightening that the brain does, okay? Another thing that you can do to help kind of let go of this, all right? Fundamentally, you're in an argument with reality. You think that she should want, and she doesn't. So another one of these beautiful gifts when these experiences happen to you is you see that you're in an argument with reality. And if you argue with reality, guess who wins, right? Okay, so this comes from Byron Katie's The Work. So what Byron Katie's The Work, she has a couple questions, but the two biggest questions in the beginning is like, is it true? Like, she should want to be with me. Is it true? Yes, it's true. Can you absolutely know that it's true? That this really is what this other person should actually want? Can you look and see, is it absolutely true that this other person should want to do this? And you're like, oh, well, I mean, I guess not. So logically, you kind of take the temperature down a little bit. You realize that you're in an argument with reality, and you realize that no, she shouldn't. She should want to do whatever it is that she wants to do. Like, that is what is happening. Okay? So that's another approach. I'm just walking you through a bunch of different ones you can play with. Okay? Sedona method is like the gripping and the tightening and the back and forth. The logical questions, should she, is Byron Katie's The Work, which is also honestly super, super amazing. Okay. Chunk up one more time, okay? Looping itself, perseverating itself, the brain gripping onto things itself, okay? Because that's what's occurring. And there's some resistance to that and not wanting that, okay? So allowing for that, just saying, okay, I'm going to stop resisting the brain looping. Like, I'm going to welcome and I'm going to create space for the brain to do it. I still love you, brain. Thank you for what you do. I know that you're trying to help me, and I'm going to create space for the perseverating and the looping and the allowing. And I'm going to welcome it, and I'm going to allow that energy to kind of flow out, right? And you can do the same gripping, like try to grip the gripping even more, right? And then try to loosen your grip on it and kind of play with it in your system to let it go. Last thing I'm going to say on this, and this is, fundamentally, you're making yourself miserable, okay? The way that the brain works with the gripping, when you let go of gripping on the thing, you realize that you basically already have what you want, which is, for most people, you want to feel love and joy and peace. And when you let go of gripping on something like this, you realize that you're already there. And that the actual wanting and the gripping is what is making you unhappy. And like I said, our brain does this. It's not just with the lady folk. It just does this across the board. Okay? So recognizing that you basically already have a full cup and you already have really what you want, which is, if you actually look inside, you're like, oh, my life is amazing. Like, the appreciation for my life at a deep level, and the appreciation even for this woman, because she's causing me to let go and to reground and to kind of go through, turning it over to God, gripping it back and forth, these frames and these other thoughts and ideas that I've shared today that kind of help you get back down to baseline and turn back over to appreciation, turning back over into letting go of the gripping, okay? Because like your brain's like, no, it's this, and then no, it's this, and then no, it's this. And it's like, shut the fuck up. I mean, I love you, brain, but shut the fuck up. Like, we're already winning. We already have. We're already alive. There are so many beautiful parts of our existence, and there's so many amazing things to be thankful for. And even this with the girl that's not writing you back or texting you back is an opportunity to let go and to come back into that deep appreciation. I'm not saying don't go out and put energy and effort into what you want, right? Like, because that's the other argument. People are like, oh, well, then I should be doing all this other, I just shouldn't do anything because I can just sit back. It's like, it's both, man. But like, we live in America or wherever you're watching this from. And so people kind of just focus too much on the external and not the internal, okay? So even this is a gift for you to kind of reground and let go. These ideas that I shared with you will help you with that. And then I want to do a plug for one tiny thing. So there's something called EMDR. Look it up. It's eye movement and desensitization. This sounds really weird, but after I kind of go through these things, if there's any feeling left, I'll do some EMDR on it, basically bringing up, and you move your eyes down, up, left, and you kind of like bring into thought the thing that you're kind of gripping onto. And the reason moving your eyes works is the way that your brain works. You kind of start pulling in new information, and it will also kind of help loosen the grip on it. It sounds so dumb, I know, like the whole like moving of the eye thing, but like it really honestly does work. Okay. That was a lot of information. This is something that still impacts me. I still get hung up on things, right? Like, I'm also a human. I know it's hard to believe. In addition to going out and meeting more women, doing some of the things I talked about here will like actually really help you solve this for you so that you can have a beautiful life and an amazing experience and still receive all the good parts. Okay? I hope that helped. I know it helped me because this just recently happened to me, which is also part of the motivation of doing these videos. Okay. I love you guys. You're amazing. I will see you out there or back in here.